Have you ever wondered why some people rise above every challenge while others stay stuck in the same place for years? It's not luck. It's not background. It all begins in one place, the mind. The power of thought is the greatest force you will ever possess, yet it's the most underestimated. Every invention, every empire, every success story in human history began as a single thought, planted like a seed, watered with belief, and grown through relentless action. But Gen Z is living in a time where thoughts are scattered, hijacked by distractions, social media trends, and constant noise. The world is feeding you fear, comparison, and self-doubt. And if you're not careful, those thoughts become your reality. You become what you think about most. That's not just a quote. It's a law. If your mind is filled with weakness, you'll live weak. If your thoughts are dominated by excuses, you'll never take control of your future. But the moment you learn to guard your mind, direct your thinking, and command your inner world, your outer world begins to shift. Greatness starts the second you realize that your thinking is not just an opinion, it's a weapon. Use it well, and there's no limit to what you can build. Now here's where most people go wrong. They drift. They move through life like a leaf in the wind, going wherever the crowd goes, doing whatever's convenient, chasing what looks cool instead of what feels right. And that's where definite purpose becomes your anchor. Without purpose, you're just reacting. With purpose, you're leading. When you define a mission for your life, everything changes. Your energy, your focus, even your relationships. You stop chasing random goals and start building something meaningful. Purpose is the master key. It turns confusion into clarity. It turns boredom into passion. When you wake up each morning knowing exactly why you're doing what you're doing, you become unstoppable. Most people never take the time to write down their purpose. They scroll, they swipe, they wait, hoping something will click. But successful people don't wait. They decide. They take full responsibility for their direction and move with intention. You can't afford to wander, not in this world. There's too much at stake. Your time, your energy, your future. They all depend on whether or not you take control of your thoughts and align them with a burning purpose. Don't let your mind become a playground for doubt. Train it, shape it, and let every single thought you think be a brick in the foundation of the life you truly want. Why do some people with less talent, fewer resources, and no special connections still rise to the top, while those with every advantage stay stuck? The answer lies in two things: discipline and the people you surround yourself with. Self-discipline is the foundation of every great achievement. It's the unseen force that turns ordinary routines into extraordinary results. In a world where everything is designed for instant gratification, fast food, quick likes, one-click everything, discipline feels like rebellion. But it's the rebellion that builds champions. Without discipline, your dreams stay dreams. They never make it into reality. It's easy to want success. It's easy to make plans. But discipline is what separates the doers from the dreamers. It's waking up early when no one's watching. It's saying no to distractions when everything is trying to steal your focus. It's doing the hard thing over and over, even when you don't feel like it. Feelings don't build legacies. Consistent action does. Discipline isn't something you wait for. It's something you develop. Like a muscle, the more you train it, the stronger it gets. And once you master yourself, no one else can ever master you. But here's a truth most people never realize. You can be disciplined and still fail if you're surrounded by the wrong people. That's why your environment is just as important as your effort. Every dream needs fuel, and your circle is either feeding you or draining you. Who you surround yourself with matters more than you think. If your friends aren't talking about growth, mindset, ideas, strategy, you're in the wrong room. The most successful people on earth didn't get there alone. They formed what Napoleon Hill called a mastermind, a group of like-minded individuals, all focused on growth, purpose, and achievement. It's not just about networking. It's about aligning with people who hold you accountable, challenge you, and push you higher. Your circle should be a mirror, that shows you your potential, not just your comfort zone. If you're constantly around people who complain, make excuses, and waste time, that energy rubs off. And before you know it, you've picked up their habits without even noticing. But when you place yourself in a circle of builders, thinkers, and fighters, something awakens in you. You become sharper. You start thinking bigger. You raise your standards, not because someone told you to, but because your environment demands it. Discipline builds your inner strength. The right circle builds your outer power. Together they form a force that's nearly unstoppable. When you take control of your habits and your environment, you no longer wait for opportunities. You create them. You don't chase validation. You build value. And you stop living life on autopilot, because you've designed a path with intention, supported by a team that refuses to let you fall back into mediocrity. Have you ever felt like you're doing everything right? Going to school, getting grades, following the system, but still deep down you know something's missing? That's because the system wasn't built to make you rich. It was built to make you obedient. The truth is, no one's coming to save you. Not school, not your job, not even your degree. The people who win in life are the ones who take initiative. They don't sit around waiting for instructions. They see a need, and they fill it. They see a gap, and they build a bridge. While the world waits for permission, leaders give it to themselves. And that's the difference between average and unstoppable. One reacts, the other creates. School teaches you how to memorize, not how to think. It prepares you for a system, not for freedom. If you want to become more than just another cog in the machine, you have to start studying winners. Study the mindset of the people who built empires, not just the people who passed exams. Initiative is the first step to ownership. Ownership of your time, your money, your path. And when you take initiative, you stop asking what should I do and start asking what can I build. That one shift changes everything. But as you start to build, there's one enemy that will always try to sneak in and take control. Fear. Fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of being different. And here's the secret. Fear and faith can't live in the same heart. You have to choose. Do you believe in the problem, or do you believe in the solution? Do you believe in the obstacles, or do you believe in your ability to rise above them? Fear is the most expensive emotion on earth. It has stolen more dreams than failure ever could. It paralyzes the mind and convinces you to shrink when life is demanding you to grow. And the worst part, most of the things people fear never even happen. It's a trap built in the imagination, but it feels real enough to stop most people from ever starting. That's why faith isn't optional. It's essential. Faith is power, not blind hope, not wishful thinking, but unshakable belief that you were built for something more, even when there's no evidence yet. Faith is waking up and moving forward, even when everything tells you to turn back. It's trusting that every step you take with purpose puts you closer to the life you deserve. Initiative makes you move. Faith makes you unstoppable. One without the other is like lightning without thunder, loud but incomplete. Together they transform a life of survival into a life of significance. Most people will never take that leap, and that's why most people stay exactly where they are. But the few who do, they build lives others can only dream about. Have you ever asked yourself why your goals never become reality, even when you say you want them so badly? It's not because you're unlucky or life is unfair. It's because wanting is not enough. Everyone wants success. Everyone wants money, freedom, happiness. But very few are willing to pay the price. And the price is self-discipline. Self-discipline is the line between who you are and who you could be. It's the difference between living with purpose and drifting through life, hoping something good happens. Most people live on autopilot. They do what feels good in the moment. They sleep late, binge nonsense, scroll endlessly, and call it rest. But the truth is, they're escaping from the responsibility of becoming who they were meant to be. Discipline means doing the hard thing when no one's watching, waking up early, saying no to things that bring short-term comfort but long-term pain, showing up when you're tired, choosing growth over pleasure, and the most powerful part, it compounds. One disciplined day becomes one disciplined week. One week becomes a lifestyle, and that lifestyle becomes your legacy. People think motivation is the key, but motivation is weak. Motivation fades. Discipline stays. Discipline shows up when motivation quits. If you only work when you feel good, you'll never be great. The greatest athletes, thinkers, and entrepreneurs in history weren't always motivated. They were just consistent. They built the muscle of discipline, and that muscle carried them through the storms. But discipline alone isn't enough. Even the strongest mind can fall if it's surrounded by weak energy. That's why your environment is everything. The people you keep close will either sharpen your edge or dull your spirit. If your friends aren't pushing you to level up, they're pulling you down. Whether you realize it or not, you start becoming like the people you spend time with. Their habits become your habits. Their mindset becomes your mindset. If you sit with people who talk about ideas, goals, building, you start thinking bigger. If you sit with people who complain, gossip, waste time, you shrink without even knowing it. Energy is contagious, and most people don't protect theirs. There's power in building a circle that holds you to a higher standard, a circle that checks you when you're slipping. That doesn't celebrate laziness or mediocrity, but challenges you to rise. That's not just friendship. That's a mastermind. That's alignment. And when you combine discipline with the right environment, you become a different force altogether. Most of the world won't understand this. They'll say you've changed. They'll say you're too intense, too focused, too distant. But that's the price of elevation. You can't take everyone with you. The higher you go, the thinner the air gets, and only those who've trained for it, with discipline and vision, can breathe at that level. Do you ever catch yourself saying, "There's still time"? That illusion is the reason most people never live the life they want. They think they have time to waste, time to figure it out later, time to relax now, and grind later. But every second you spend scrolling mindlessly, every hour you waste avoiding the hard things, every day you delay, it's all adding up. And while you're waiting, someone else is working. Someone else is building. Someone else is becoming everything you're dreaming of being. Time doesn't care about your excuses. It doesn't stop because you're tired or because life got hard. Time is ruthless. Every moment that passes is either working for you or against you. Most people don't realize until it's too late, when regret hits harder than any failure ever could. Regret is a slow burn, the kind that creeps in when the noise fades, and you're left asking why you didn't start sooner, why you didn't push harder, why you played it safe. And it all starts with one bad habit: scrolling, wasting time on content that does nothing for your growth, numbing yourself with endless entertainment, while your potential sits untouched. The truth is, most people don't fear failure. They fear effort. They fear responsibility. Because if they actually gave it everything and still failed, then what? So instead they do just enough to feel busy, but never enough to feel fulfilled. That's why if you want to win, you need to become hyper-aware of where your time is going. Track it like you would money. Protect it like your life depends on it, because it does. Every time you say yes to something that doesn't matter, you say no to something that could change your future. You only get 24 hours a day, the same as the most successful people on earth. It's not about more time, it's about better choices. And once you understand the value of time, you start to realize something even deeper. The greatest version of you is not built by accident. It's crafted, piece by piece, day by day. Not just physically, not just mentally, but in every area. You build your body, yes, but you also build your focus. You build your energy. You build your standards. And most importantly, you build a version of yourself that you'd be afraid to let down. Become someone you would fear losing discipline in front of. Someone so powerful, so sharp, so driven, that even your lowest days still move the needle forward. That kind of person doesn't break under pressure. They rise. They don't fold when life hits. They hit back because they've trained for it, built for it, and every second they live is intentional. The people who win in life don't stumble into success. They create it through how they use their time, through who they become in the process, through a daily commitment to outgrow who they were yesterday.